Hello everybody, Steve here with another video, and I have to talk about this. I have to talk about these riots that are going on, and maybe some people aren't going to like what I have to say, but it's the truth. There's no two ways about this. And of course, we all know that we have been going through the pandemic, and it seemed like we were beginning to really come out of it until this officer in Minneapolis did this stupid thing and killed Mr. George Floyd in a absolutely unspeakable way. I don't know if I've seen anything more heinous than what he did, but it just started an avalanche of violence and hatred, and we just went off onto this whole thing about racism and all of these other negative, evil emotions. And now other forces are being brought to bear into this. And they don't have a good agenda. They don't have an agenda of reconciliation or peace or even just regular protesting, which I think is very good and very helpful. Peaceful protesting, bringing light to situations and causing there to be change and conversation. But no, it has gone through something more heinous and destructive. And in the end, there will be no good that comes from this type of behavior. No good at all. Either people will start to fight back, or people will internalize it and blame a majority for what a few do. So there's no good that can come out of this the way things are going now. No good whatsoever. And I heard this powerful quote. I'm not exactly sure who penned it or who originally thought it, but I'm going to say it here because it applies. And it goes as such. The only thing evil needs to succeed is for good people not to do anything. And this is what we are seeing now. We are seeing our authorities, our leaders, not all, but some, and unfortunately it tends to be on the left. What we're seeing is one of two things. Either they are frozen by fear, or they are frozen with purpose. And when I say frozen with purpose, is that they have ulterior motives as to letting a lot of this happen. And I think mostly it is for political purposes, so that they can garnish enough votes to save them politically, to turn the country, or perhaps some other nefarious purpose that we don't yet see. But I think it's certainly organized, and I think it certainly is with purpose. I know a lot are scared or fearful, but the alternative is to burn down everything that most of us have fought to create, our jobs, our businesses. And it's just a terrible, terrible situation. And like I said, there's no good that can come from this. And especially on the news, I saw even young kids, 10 years old. The reporters were saying looked like they were between 8 and 10 years old. And let me say something. Why you as a parent will let your 8, 10, 12, even 15 out of the house during this crazy time? Why you would let them leave the house at all, really, I mean, I am confused. I have a daughter, so, I mean, forget the fact that they might be caught up into some crime and other bad deed. The fact that they might get shot or hurt as just from being outside. Why would anybody want to do that? And the only thing I keep coming back to is that we have forgotten God. We have no spiritual backbone. We have no foundation of knowing what is good and what is evil. Therefore, anything goes. And we're all living in a crazy time right now. And I'm hoping and praying that things are going to turn around. But I do not feel encouraged about it right now. And God help me. I try to be an optimistic person and see that there's good in everything, but I see no good coming from this. And we, at the worst, we are just reactionary, and we do nothing to plan or to see into the future how things are going to go. Now, I was driving back home on a major thoroughfare. I live in New York. I was in Queens Boulevard, and I saw one of the big malls in New York City boarding themselves up. It has all the big stores, Macy's, J.C. Penney, and then on the other side of the mall was some other big name stores, and they were trying to board up because they knew that eventually it's going to come over in this kind of residential Queens neighborhood. So they were trying to be proactive, but the wooden boards is not going to really stop anyone. Might slow them down for a few minutes, but the cops are so spread thin, they may not even do anything if something happens. At the very least, they will set these things on fire, and God knows, I hope that this is not the case. But think about what's going to happen. Everybody that is working there or we're going to be returning to work soon, they're not going to have a job, and everything is just going to snowball. It's a snowball effect. So I'm trying to be optimistic. Most importantly, I'm trying to pray. And I think, honestly, the prayers of the Christians are the only thing that is keeping us afloat. Our prayers, your prayers, my prayers are the thing that I think is blocking this from being a total failure on the part of our leaders. So I would just ask you to continue to pray, continue to do what you know how to do. Love is still the most powerful force out of all of this. Our love for God, our love for our fellow man, our love for our neighbor. And that is the one, as they say, ace in the deck that we have. We have prayer, and we have our faith to believe that God, of course, is still in control, but he doesn't override our wills. But yet at the same time, God is still in control. So let us hold on to that, to encourage one another, to be strong, as the Bible says, to gird up our loins, be brave, to speak out when we need to speak out, to do good when we can do good, to help others, to be an example of the faith right now, because the world really needs an example. They need to know that there is another way, and we need to show that to them. Maybe we can't go back to church, but we can bring the church to individuals by showing them love, those that are in need. those that maybe are looting because they have need, we can help those. That's something that we can tangibly do. So I encourage you to do that. Don't just be shut up in your home, not knowing anything that's going on, but know what's going on in your area, in your neighborhood, with your neighbors. And maybe we can fight this thing from the inside out. So there's more I have to say, but I'll leave it for another video. God bless you. Pray, pray, pray. And may God have mercy on us all. God bless you. Feel free to leave a message in the comments field. Please subscribe to our podcast. We're trying to get this kind of message out for the people of faith and for anybody that hears this, because maybe they will benefit. Maybe it will give them pause. So please do subscribe. I hope YouTube doesn't take this video down or flag it for any reason. I'm not speaking hate. I'm just speaking the truth, or letting everybody know how things are going. And I have some pictures up here that I hope you'll really take a look at as I'm talking. Pictures that what I've seen so far, and I'll talk more about that in the next podcast. So God bless you, and see you next time.